Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Attorney General Eric Schneiderman. I'm very happy to be here in the beautiful, reviving east side of Buffalo, and I'm joined by some of my great colleagues in government, Congressman Brian Higgins, County Executive Mark Polenkars, longtime friend Mayor Byron Brown, Senator Tim Kennedy, Assemblywoman Crystal People-Stokes, Assemblyman Michael Kearns. I gather that Damone Smith is also here from the Common Council. Yep. And we're also going to hear from Jocelyn Gordon, who's the Executive Director of the Buffalo, Erie, Niagara Land Bank Corporation. And we are here today to announce our renewed commitment to your land bank and to the process of redevelopment that the land bank is a part of. I have to say, there are very few places I can go in the state where so much has been done so quickly and so much is being done for so many. You out here in the Erie Niagara region in the city of Buffalo are just an exceptional example of local government officials working together and getting the results that a lot of parts of the state look at you guys with envy, and I tell them it's not a matter of envy, it's a matter of looking at a good model and emulating it. So for those of you who don't know, land banks are nonprofit organizations that are affiliated with local governments. They have the ability to purchase any abandoned property and rehabilitate it, or in some cases, when homes or buildings are beyond repair, they can demolish it and make the space available for other public use. The plague, the blight of abandoned properties has been a big problem here and across the state of New York. Abandoned properties, whether it is residential or commercial, are havens for crime and vandalism. The depressed property values, they require the local governments to maintain them, and they cut into the tax rolls. Every building and every home that can be rehabilitated, every building and every home that is not abandoned is a plus for the people of the community. I started working on holding accountable the banks who brought about the crash of the economy in 2008. We were very focused on two goals. One was the accountability and making sure that history was not rewritten and that the facts came out. The second was being as aggressive and creative as we could to make sure that the communities that were hurt were getting the relief. And we've had to be very creative about this, and the land bank is essentially a way of saying, even if you kept your home, even if you kept your business through the financial crisis, if you are on a street with a bunch of abandoned properties, you are also a victim. And that's something that we're dedicated to dealing with, and there's no place in the state where it's being done as aggressively and comprehensively as here. So a little more than a year ago, I announced the first round of funding for the land banks through a competitive request for proposal process, and we announced that we were going to award $13 million for the first round of funding. Through a competitive process, we awarded more than $2 million to the land bank here, and to get them staffed up. We're fortunate to hire Jocelyn Gordon as their new executive director in March, and also to fund the demolition of some severely dilapidated properties, making it possible to redevelop them. And I am very, very happy to announce today that in addition to the money that we provided, you've been able to leverage an additional $2 million in city and county support. The investment is good, and the investment is paying off. The land bank is in the process of demolishing 59 severely depressed properties, and it has acquired 5 properties, has plans for 3 more that are going to be renovated and resold. This is a great start for an operation that really just began at the beginning of this year, and I'm very happy to say that as land banks across the state shift into the next gear, as we're now completing the process of the first year's funds, we are very happy to announce that because of the success of your land bank and others, we've increased the funding for year 2 of our process, and we're going to give out $20 million statewide, and that $2.5 million of that is coming to your land bank here in Buffalo, Erie, and Niagara. So our total commitment is now more than $4.5 million, and that's over a period of 3 years. We are very, very aware of the fact that here we are just a partner in a much larger process. But I'm very proud of the fact that the land bank is contributing to the revival of Buffalo, Erie County, Niagara County, and that it is helping you to ensure that all parts of this community are revived and benefit from the turnaround together. So we are now in an area that is another indication of tremendous success. I think the state owns a lot of the property right around here already, and we're poised for redevelopment. I'm proud of the work that we've done here through the land bank, and believe me, I am it's been a particular pleasure because I'm now starting to go into homes and to talk to people who have benefited from the legal services we've obtained as part of these settlements, people who are staying in their homes, and to walk around in some of the homes that have been renovated. This is a part of the process. You know, I often go get bad guys and don't get to see the good results immediately. I could not be prouder of the work we're doing here together with you, and I have to repeat that in some parts of the state, the land banks are really the only game in town. Here, I'm honored to be participating with you as a part of a much broader process, and whether it's bringing the action against Central Park Plaza to require that to be sold and to get it, you got a good developer in there, or our continued efforts. I think that this is a great story, what's happening here, and I'm proud to be a part of it. So I do want to note something, because we have several, our colleagues from the state legislature here. We had a big victory this year in Albany when you passed a law to expand the number of land banks from 10 to 20. There are 10 land banks already in the state, and we're now looking to expand that. But in order to encourage other governments to participate, you need good models, and you have a great model here for the land bank and for all the work you're doing beyond the land bank. And with that, I would like to introduce a tremendous partner in government who's I appreciate his work even more now that I've been going to Washington as chair of the working group that's producing all this money for the settlement. And I'm proud to say in the last 3 years since I was made the chair of the task force the president set up in January 2012, we've recovered more than $60 billion nationally, and more than $4 billion of that has come to New York. Some of that money is going to land banks, some of it's going to pay for legal services. A lot of it is going to where it can be reappropriated. It can be appropriated by the legislature and the governor. So I would urge you that some of that money should be available for land banks and other community development initiatives as well. We are not at the point now where there are big you know, we haven't had a big federal program for housing or redevelopment for a while. We do now have the resources at the state level to a certain extent to fill that gap. And I know that a leader in bringing money home and making sure that that he fights every day for this community, your great Congressman, Brian Higgins.
Eric Schneiderman, our great New York Attorney General, going after the bad guys, going after the resources to repair the damage that they have done. The land bank concept is a proven concept throughout the nation, throughout New York State, and no better place than right here in Buffalo to use these resources to revitalize these neighborhoods. The mayor, the county executive, my colleagues in state government, everybody will benefit from the great resources and the great creativity of this program to bring back the neighborhoods of Buffalo and urban neighborhoods throughout all of New York State. So Eric Schneiderman, thank you for the work that you do on behalf of everybody from New York State, and particularly the people here in Buffalo and Western New York. We are indebted and we are grateful for your extraordinary service to our community. Eric Schneiderman, our great Attorney General. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, and now another great partner in government who has been a big part of making all this happen, County Executive Mark Poloncarz.
Thank you, General, and on behalf of the entire Erie County team that's part of the Buffalo Erie Niagara Land Development Corporation, the Land Bank, I want to thank you for your continued commitment with these new $2.5 million towards what truly is a revitalization of Buffalo, Erie County, and Western New York. The money that you provided last year is going to good work right now through demolitions in the city of Buffalo, the city of Lackawanna, and renovations not only in the city of Buffalo but in other parts of Erie County. I can't say enough. When he walked up, he said, I'm here again. I said, more good news, whether it's the land bank, his work on the iStop program, which is certainly having an impact, the healthcare line, which of course our seniors and other people need to help make them to make the appropriate decisions. The Attorney General's office is truly one that is here for the people of our community, and today's announcement is another example of it. So on behalf of our entire Erie County team and the rest of our partners in government, I just want to thank you for your continued investment in our community.
Thank you. Thank you. It is indeed an investment that is paying off very well, and I know a lot about investments. This is a good one. Now, someone who I've known for a very long time, who served with me in the state Senate, and is certainly someone who, where everyone who worked with him is very proud to know today, Mayor Byron Brown.
Well, the Attorney General is a very good friend and a great partner to the people of Buffalo and Western New York. Very pleased to welcome him back to our community for this very strategic investment in the community. A lot of the resources from this $2.5 million investment will come right here to the east side of Buffalo. So this is a great day for Buffalo, Erie County, Niagara County, the city of Buffalo, but also the east side of Buffalo. And I want to thank Attorney General Eric Schneiderman for his tremendous focus on helping us to build up this community. I want to recognize Pastor Gillison, who is with us from the Mount Olive Baptist Church. And I say strategic because this builds on other investments that are being made in this area. As the Attorney General mentioned, $6.7 million of state investment to buy much of this property that you see in this area for redevelopment. So it is a strategic investment. It builds on the investment that Pastor Gillison and Mount Olive Baptist Church have made in very close proximity to here. Over $3.5 million invested in their church facility and other facilities in this community. It builds on the Erie County Medical Center investment that I know County Executive Polenkars is so proud of. Hundreds of millions of dollars that have been invested in ECMC, and it builds on other investments that the members of our state legislature and congressmen have made in this area. We look forward to continuing to partner with the Attorney General in the many ways that we have partnered with him. I know that Councilmember Damone Smith will go to his colleagues and talk about another win for the Maston Council District, thanks to Attorney General Schneiderman and the investment in this land bank. But this is a great day. The Attorney General continues to deliver these funds and programs to this community, and very appreciative of everything that you're doing, Attorney General Schneiderman, to build up Buffalo and partner with each and every one of us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I appreciate the pastor being here and also his admonishment that if we're going to do this, we should do it quickly. He's a man who clearly is in touch with and has knowledge of higher powers. And finally, someone who I'm really, I hope you will all join me in being very happy to hear from, because a year ago, she wasn't here and this program wasn't here. Jocelyn Gordon, the executive director of the Buffalo Erie Niagara Land Bank.
Thanks so much, everybody. I'll be very quick. The function of New York's Attorney General is to serve as the people's lawyer. Mr. Schneiderman guards the legal rights of all of New York's residents, and in his position, he's got a lot of choice. He has the latitude to champion the causes that he feels are particularly just or unjust. The mortgage lending crisis and fraudulent banking practices have devastated our communities, leaving vacancy, abandonment, blight in its wake. It's wherever you go. It's whether you wake up on the east side or whether you wake up in Cheektowaga, Tonawanda, Amherst, anywhere in Erie County, we see it. Mr. Schneiderman's pursuit and capture of the large banks, including J.P. Morgan Chase and Bank of America, for example, have enabled these land banks to address abandoned properties. So we'll spend their money fixing their problems, which is a wonderful, wonderful way to go forward. And our board will do it the only way that we know how. We'll do it one house at a time. We have our board members here very quickly. Commissioner Maria White from the Department of Environment and Planning, Joe Maciejewski, Treasurer of the Erie County Real Property Tax Services, Brendan Mahaffey, Vice Chair of our BENLIC board. We're all here, and our land bank pledges to be good shepherds to this funding and to make the office of the People's Lawyer very proud. We can't wait to get started revitalizing this neighborhood, and we can't wait to continue our work throughout Erie County. So thank you tremendously from the bottom of all of our hearts. It's going to be a great experience.
Thank you, Justin. So thank you all, and to all of my colleagues in government and our partners in the community and the folks who make the land bank run every day. Jocelyn mentioned a few banks, and I do want to note that when the President of the United States announced the working group to investigate the causes of the crash and made me one of the co-chairs in January 2012, there was no funding available for any state or local programs that was coming from the banks that caused the crash. Since the task force was set up, we've recovered more than $60 billion nationally, and more than $4 billion has come back to New York and to New Yorkers. So I would note that the banks who have done the right thing, Chase and Citi and Bank of America, which have entered into some of the largest settlements in American history. Actually, the Bank of America settlement and the Chase settlement are the two largest settlements in American history. They are now our partners. They are writing down mortgages. They are turning over properties to us. And I would encourage you that they are not the only financial institutions that are going to be helpful to you. And my work as the co-chair of the working group is ongoing. So thanks you for your help. And there is no place that I've seen change happen as effectively and as amazingly as here in Buffalo, in Erie County, Niagara County. And you have an incredible team of people here, and I'm proud to be working with you. Thank you.
$2.5 million thank yous.